2. Alright guys, welcome back. We are here again with the ARG 2016 Invitational. And this time around, I've actually got a guest commentator with me. I got Raul ready here.
Hey guys, I did really bad today, so I'm here.
Yeah, I didn't do quite so well in the qualifier, unfortunately. But it looks like our matchup here today is going to be, looks like probably Greninja and Bees.
Bees, looks like Grant plays a parallel. Just a little bit cute for this matchup. Yeah, for this matchup, I don't think Grant plays a Garbodor. So the matchup is actually very difficult. You can't hear me?
I can hear you very well. That's why I have this on. Over there. Can't hear Raul. Oh! It seems like the second one might be down a little bit.
What's the problem? They can't hear me.
Yeah, they can't hear you. They can't hear him apparently. All right, we're working on Raul sound.
Hello, testing. Oh.
Ah, there we go. That's what it was, just in the mixer. Perfect.
So many knobs and dials.
Now I can hear you. All right.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it looks like Grant's not playing Garbodor in this matchup. So it's actually very tricky for the Vespiquen player to take this game because the Greninja can let Grant in this matchup take a knockout and then instantly ace channel them to 3. And if they can get a Silent Lab or whatever stadium Antonio's playing, if it's Silent Lab, then Grant's in a very, very bad spot. But if it's, I mean, like playing with 3 cards is really hard. Like, especially when you're a deck that's reliant on just going through your deck and making sure all you have left is resources. Like, just like Hex and DC. That's all you need to win the game.
Yep, 100%. I mean, Ace Trainer is just brutal in that deck. It really is.
And Antonio opening Talonflame as well means that Grant, something was going to die. So he has to burn a DCE to retreat.
That's unfortunate. But Special Charge, you know, that'll help him out a lot.
Okay, it looks like Antonio's got a... Let's look at frog count. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's putting him nice to the front. I love this guy.
Makes it easier for us.
Looks like one's priced. Unless he has one in his hand.
He could have, yeah, could have one in his hand. I can get a good look at his hand, unfortunately.
I would never recommend putting your frogs to the front of the deck just because your opponent now kind of knows what you're counting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true.
And Grant's a good enough player that he will definitely pick up on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he's got ends, so he's just going to end here. Like, his hand looks pretty dead otherwise.
Oh, he just played an end of his own, so that doesn't even make a difference.
This Talonflame, if it stays alive, it could be very problematic for Grant, so he really needs to find that Zebstrika and DCE the following turn and knock it out, as well as developing his board. So, if Grant can find a parallel before Antonio's Frogadier turn, it'll be pretty big, because then he can't get as many frogs as he would like out. Unbeknownst to Grant, Antonio doesn't have all the frogs in his deck, but still.
Yeah. I mean, unless he was able to really kind of see where he was counting.
We are in round 4 of 5 right now.
Yep, this is round 4. We are playing best of 3 for the Invitational. The rest of the events are all doing single match, so
Looks like Antonio's eyeing that enhanced hammer to put into his hand.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, he just grabbed the enhanced hammer. I would have...
I would have held off on putting that DCE on the Blitzel before I would have...
Yeah. Oh, and another DC hits the discard for Grant.
Oh, no. Well, he's got one more in hand, it looks like.
Yeah, so he's digging for the Zebra right now. He's got Acrobikes and an Eevee. He's playing the Flareon line, and I believe he's got an Ultra Ball. So he can Ultra Ball away, grab...
Like Combi.
I would just get the Zebra, take the knockout here.
Yeah.
But now Grant's in a really precarious spot because he's down after this turn potentially 3 DCE because we know Antonio has the VS Secret or the enhanced hammer, so he'll be down to 1 DCE remaining in deck. And he has to pretty much find an end right now. I don't know if he has one in the discard. Doesn't look like it, but he can't afford to discard that.
Not really. I mean, even with the 2 special charge, you'd have to start digging for the special charge, and you really don't want to be digging for very long when you're playing this deck.
Okay, so he drops the Shaman, which is... It's effectively 2 free prizes for Antonio at this point, but I think Grant really wants to find that special charge before he commits to anything.
There it is.
There it is.
Always in the prizes. So there's one of them. That'll help him get back in this game pretty easily. We already know.
Antonio's got the Frog. He's got the Splash. The only way this makes it sweeter is you've got the Ace Trainer and a Balloon.
Yeah. And there's the hammer.
There's the hammer. We knew he had that. His hand looks really dead. He has a VS here for an N, but I don't think he wants to... I wouldn't N. That's so risky.
It is. It is. Puts down the rough seas. And up there it goes. Okay.
I think that's a very poor choice of play just because Antonio didn't have to do anything. He could have just Lysandred up the Shaman instead, making it so Grant needs to either find the float stone or attach manually to the Shaman and bounce it. And then he's setting up a situation where he doesn't potentially draw into those Frogadiers.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You don't want those frogs in hand. And if he draws into them here, it's going to be really bad. There's a frog. Okay, he escaped it, though.
Never punished.
All right, so we know for a fact that he's got 1 in the prizes, so he's only going to be able to get out 2 here, I think.
Yeah, looks like it. And he looks like his hand is mediocre at best. So if Grant has to have a turn where he can manually retreat, or he has to get that Zeb Strike out of the active spot, he has to he has a special charge, so he can use that now.
Well, it's in his deck now. He ended him out of it.
Oh, yeah, he did. You're right. Looks like he's digging for anything playable at this point.
So Shamu went in there. I didn't see what he picked up. Did he pick up a special charge?
I think so. I think that was a special charge.
I thought that's what it. There it is right there. Okay, so 2 more of those DCs are going to come back into the deck.
His hand sucks. He really needs to find... he's going to Shaman for like 3 here, I believe, and then he has to find a supporter. But
you're in a dangerous position when you're playing against Greninja with 2 Shamans on the board, though.
Yeah, and no Garb in your deck. So you're effectively putting 4 prizes on the board. Antonio's just going to be like, okay, my board is completely set up. He doesn't play Floatstone.
Huh. Okay.
That's very bad.
And here now he's got the full board, 2 Shaman. He's going to be able to toss that Unknown, but
I can't help but feel for Grant because that's already so many resources already gone.
It really is.
The matchup's going to be incredibly difficult.
All right, Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, Circuit Series player.
Yes, he can also have access to Rough Seas, but...
The time is 2:44 p.m.
Right! He can have access to Rough Seas. I would have just Ultra Balled the... Okay, he's just going to pass?
Yeah, looks
Very
that way.
interesting.
No energy to get anything. Oh, he did have the energy, didn't he?
He did.
That-
I don't know why he didn't retreat at the very least.
Yeah, he could have at least done that.
Or
I wonder.
attacked.
Maybe he just wants that Zebra gone.
Well, it's not going to really die. Like,
Ooh.
if Antonio's smart, he'll just Shadow Stitch here.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. I mean, he effectively would have just wasted his turn by leaving it in the active by doing that.
If I was Antonio, I wouldn't have attached to the back just because I would have just put he had a splash sitting in his hand, so I would have put the splash on one of the back ones. Just so you're making it so there's like 2 bad targets to attack, and then a balloon if you draw into it onto the other one. So you're making it so literally there's no good option to hit.
Yep. Now there's Greninja.
Jim, Grafton is 3-1, I believe. Pretty much Antonio has what he needs. A second Greninja would be the icing on the cake right now, but he doesn't have it, so he's just going to Shadow Stitch.
I almost thought I saw a dive ball back there as well. I don't know if that was something else or might have been something else. It would almost have to be.
Grant, discard your Clef Key.
Yeah.
Please. I don't know. His options seem very weak. His only solace is the fact that Antonio can't get double Greninja next turn and start beating down his board.
Yeah, once you set up that double Greninja break, in this instance especially, you're just going to start wrecking.
Yeah, because Grant's not in a position where his board is not set up enough to the fact where he can just chain hex and win the game.
Yeah.
Especially with 2 Shamans sitting on the board, because at this point he has to chain hex if it's an option available to him.
Absolutely.
Another pass from Grant. He's signaling to Antonio he's got a dead hand. Even though he has the DCE, Antonio does have the splash. Oh, okay. So Antonio's not going to take the knockout there, playing around teammates, I guess.
Yeah, that must be it.
You're not taking a knockout this turn, but you're doing 80. And you're saying your hands, he had an end, but he's not going to play that just because. Rough Seas!
I would have just taken the knockout there. I don't see a reason to bring up the Vespa Queen. I would have ended and dug for a balloon, preferably. I don't know. Now he's like both players think each other's hands are dead. But Grant has Shaman to draw more cards. I think he has to Shaman here.
It's risky, but at this point in the game, he really doesn't have much other option. There's that other DCE back again.
I don't know. Grant's not in a good spot. I think this game, The only fact is like Antonio just hasn't found other Greninjas so far.
Yeah.
So like
There's the E-Hammer.
oof.
So once again, he's going to have to start getting into that second special charge.
That's pretty much Grant is left with 2 DC and a special charge left.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again the Ace Trainer comes out, putting Grant back at 3, which is pretty bad.
I guess like this turn can be saved if Antonio doesn't hit an energy because he didn't attach for some reason.
Yeah.
He had an energy in his hand. I don't know why he didn't attach. I would have at least attached to the back and gone for a bubble play.
While setting up my board,
Yeah.
if I was that scared. He's digging for a splash. Looks like Grant might have accidentally drawn an extra card. He's just showing the card off the top so that it'll resolve. Okay, so the second Greninja comes out. Antonio is now in a super good board state. If I was him, I would either... I mean, Grant's board is completely filled, so I'm not really afraid of anything. So I'd probably just retreat and bubble, try to stall myself out for a turn, make sure one of my Greninjas doesn't... He can't do the Greninja turn this turn. That Frogger just came down.
Yep, he got it, though. That's
quick. I would go for the bubble play, just so... Because you want to have the 2 breaks cycling, if that makes any sense.
exactly. Yeah, that's
And
what I was saying. You
you're-
start chaining Greninja Break.
You're not taking a knockout this turn. You're just doing 80. It's just... Now you're saying you have a DCE, you're going to take another prize. Like, sure, Grant's in an awful spot, but, like... I think giving him another prize to set up your board completely was a better play, because now you won't have double break, you just have 1 break, and Grant promotes something else, and unless you have the Lysander to take the knockout on the bench, Vespiquen, you're left with a lot of resources gone.
Yeah.
But if you can find the Lysander, which is entirely plausible, because Antonio hasn't played many cards, he has a big hand, and I don't think Grant's in any position to be ending. He has to Sycamore almost every single time.
Oh, why this is right there? That's better.
Oh,
No, it's not. I was trying to see the edge of the chat.
No.
Should probably just pull the chat up on my phone. It might be easier.
And now he's in a position where if now Antonio has 2 breaks, he wins the game effectively.
Yeah, basically. I mean, there's so much damage spread across the board on those Vespiquens especially.
The fact that he was rough seeing as well means Antonio doesn't need to take the knockout here. Like, it's a cute play, but I don't want that Zebra clogging up my bench. I'd much rather have something else. He doesn't play Hex. This game's over then, I think.
Haven't seen it yet. Not even off of an N or anything.
If he doesn't play a Hex, I think this game
Yeah,
is...
no Hex.
Yeah. I think Grant's board is too poor in this position where it's just... Why would you... I wouldn't take that knockout. Oh, that hurts me. The reason I wouldn't take that knockout in this situation is purely because now you're giving Grant an option to attack. You haven't seen a flow stone, you haven't seen anything. You've seen a lot of DCs be expended. And you're saying, I don't have a break. Sure, I have double Greninja on my bench, but I don't have a break. Meaning, you pretty much can run the show. You're going to dictate the pace. It looks like Grant teched almost entirely for like Scizor and just... decks he expected to be here. Like, there is Yveltal, there is Greninja, but he took a worse matchup to Greninja to make his Scizor matchup better, which I think is fine.
Yeah, it's just it all comes down to a meta call with this deck. I mean, there's so much you can do with Vespiquen to work with different meta that you expect to be there.
Yeah, I showed up with like 20 extra cards. Like, I was like, I can put whatever I want. And I teched entirely for Mirror and didn't hit a single one. So, you know, things happen.
Yeah.
If Grant doesn't hit a DCE here, I think he'll just pick up his cards.
Yeah, that would be the smart move here in the interest of time.
He might be playing for a tie. If he can take this, he can draw this game out, and he can squeak off some sort of a win in the second game.
Yeah.
Because Greninja has its innate inconsistencies.
Right. That is very true.
And a tie would put him in a position where it's like, well, I'm gonna walk out with some form of money. So.
Right.
If he put up a DC there, he could have also bounced with Shaman to start getting those off the board and play around the balloon.
Yeah, that would be better too. So instead, we're sitting here with an active Shaman. Greninja looks like he wants to go for Moonlight Slash here, but I don't know if he's going to commit to it or not. If he wants to bounce it up or not. At this point, Shaman, all you got to do.
Yeah.
Nope, Shadow Stitch.
I don't
That's
know
what
why he Shadow Stitched there. The board's entirely full. There's no abilities that Grant can really abuse at this point. That's a precarious play. I would have taken the 60 damage.
Yeah, and then you wouldn't necessarily have to get rid of that energy if you didn't want to either. And still knock it out next turn.
I think I would have bounced purely because Antonio has no energy in his hand. So for some reason, Grant finds a way to retreat because you don't really know what's in his list. As sitting in Antonio's position, I'd be like, so he finds a float stone. He promoted a shaman like recklessly. So that must mean he has some form of retreat, or he's just not finding it. I guess Grant just not drawing anything is paying off for Antonio.
Yep, there goes the Lysander for the Vespiquen there.
And a
Bursting balloon too.
I would bounce the energy 100% of the time.
Yeah, now
Antonio's
especially.
hand's dead, so you need to have that energy back. It's just like Antonio's not finding his breaks. He's not finding his energy. He needs to find those energies.
Yep. And see, too, if he would have gone for Moonlight Slash on that Shaman, all he would need there is just a giant shuriken to knock it out as well.
And now I say this like Antonio's like in a bad position. He's just not. He has this game locked up. I don't think there's anything Grant can do to win. Like barring a Lysander play on a Froki, and Antonio just never draws an energy for some reason.
There's a Revitalizer.
He has a 4 or 5 card deck, it looks like. He can't Sycamore.
No.
He has to end.
Yep. There we go. So he's only going to pick up, what, 4 cards? They're each going to get 4 cards, actually.
Leaving him with like 2 to 3 cards left in deck. 2 DCE in there. I don't know if I saw the second special charge.
I haven't seen it yet myself. There it is right there.
Oh, okay, 6. So he can put cards back in the deck for 1, and then he can make it so his entire deck is DC at this point.
Yep, and he still has the 1 in hand, so he can still go ahead and attack.
You attack with... No, I don't like that at all. You're giving the power back to your opponent, which I really dislike. Sure, you're getting the Shamans off the board, but that's not the issue at hand here. The issue at hand is that your Vespiquens are getting knocked out in mass. Every time you don't return with a knockout, he's just going to rough seize that 30 damage and just come back and hit you. Sure, you're playing around the balloons, but I just take the 60 here and just hope the end's stuck.
I mean, that would have knocked out his... If he would have attacked with that Vespiquen, he could have at least attached to this one over here, the one in the middle, and promoted that one and not taken the knockout. Yeah. Not taking the knockout, but at least done something there. At this point, you know, with almost 20 minutes past, I would have probably scooped by now if I were Grant.
Yeah. I think at this point, Grant is accepting the fact that he's playing for a tie.
Yeah, I think so too.
Effectively, Greninja, you just have to have Greninja open a bad hand once, and you can take this matchup. Yeah. But it doesn't look like he's Shaman looping. Like that just doesn't feel good. Oh, that should be the
There's
game,
the break.
much.
Yep. All right, so there goes that Vespiquen. There's one prize there. Oh, there's the second break. Does he have the energy for that one? Nope, he just chose to attack there, looks like. Lysander for Froki. So he's been stitched. He can't put down that Shaman that's in his hand. Via Seeker for Sycamore. Tosses out a Max Potion and Ultra Ball.
He's just trying to look for an energy, and the game's over.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Grant, he's just too low on resources. He's picking at straws here. I don't... Did you just splash to retreat?
He did. He just splashed to retreat. Well, that's the only one he had in his hand, I suppose.
I don't know about that one. I guess because he's winning so hard.
Yep, there goes
Grant
the
has DCE N. This game could actually be wildly different.
There's the DCE. Does he have the N?
Because Antonio as well has gone through a lot of resources.
Yeah. There's not much left in either player's deck at this point. He's playing a Buddy Buddy Rescue here.
Buddy Buddy's nice, but I really hate the fact that he's giving Antonio another card.
Yeah, clearly he's just going for the... He's going to go for the unknown here for more draw.
Yeah. I mean, Grant doesn't have enough... He needs to find that N right now.
Yeah.
There was no stitching that happened.
Wow, there's all the DCE.
I don't think I see an N.
I don't either. But he can still throw away that. I think there's only one card left in his deck, and he can take that. And there's no N left. There's no ES Seeker, no nothing. Yeah, he's just going to scoop here. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, the N was prized. It looked like he just pulled it out.
Yep.
He needed to have N that turn because if just having the energy means Antonio, like, you have to assume he has 2 energy.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, you would think so. So it looks like game 1 is going to go to Antonio. There. All right, cool. All right, so as they shuffle up here, I mean, it's definitely a hard match to swallow there for Grant. That not a very good start for him.
Flip the number. It shows Grant as 1.
Oh, that's what it did. You know what it does? It's because the way OBS is set up. If I go back here.
Ah.
Yeah, it's just that the camera has it set up that way. I'm just going to leave it on this screen, I think, because of that.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll flop it. Flip-flop it next turn. But yeah, it's definitely a bad start there for Grant. It's hard to come back with a start like that, so he did what he could. And like I said, he probably was just trying to go for tie now. I mean, he's only got to get through 30 minutes or so. If he wins this game, goes to game 3, you never know what could happen. And Antonio there starts with a mulligan. Very, very common in Greninja, as I said earlier in the stream. When you're only starting with anywhere between 3 to 6 Pokemon.
You gotta hope here that if you're Grant that Antonio doesn't open Talonflame, which he is. We see the first card he draws is Talonflame.
Yep. Yeah, you have to start with it.
If Antonio doesn't open Talonflame, and yeah, it gets wild. No Floatstone means that Klefki's a huge dead card. I don't know. I don't agree at all with the no Floatstone decision.
I don't either. I mean, you got to play at least one.
Playing heavy Eevees and Zebras means you have so many things that just don't have good retreat cost. Whoa.
Wow, that was quite the hand to toss out there.
I would have paralleled him to 3 at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah, that quick parallel would make a big difference in the way that this game could go.
Just because if Antonio can't find a counter stadium, it's just...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Grant's going through his first search of the deck here. Seeing what's prized, seeing what's not. I do see that there's at least one special charge in his deck there, so if that becomes an issue again with hammers, he can still work around it a little bit. I have not seen the second one.
I dislike going for the Blitzel so much here. You've already put like 7 Pokemon in the discard. Why not just opt to go straight Vespiquen and try to take the knockout next turn with the Talonflame? It's like, what's he going to do, NU? Oh, he's going to NU to 6. Now the Zebstrika being on your field means it's a liability. It's taking up an energy spot that shouldn't be. And it doesn't have free retreat. That's the biggest deal.
Yep.
He looks like double DCE in his hand. Attach DCE retreat to Blitzel Shaman.
Looks like he's kind of debating.
His hand is DCE Shaman.
He put it on the Blitzel.
Oh, that's so E-hammer prone.
I don't agree with that either. Yeah.
You know your opponent plays at least 2 E-hammers.
Does Antonio have it in hand? There's a rough seize.
So the parallel was irrelevant, obviously.
Yeah.
And Grant gets an N out of it, even with a super dead hand. That's nice.
And still the potential to get into that E-hammer, as we said before. 9 times out of 10, you really don't want to put a special energy on a Pokemon on the bench on the first turn. If you know, like you said, you know your opponent's playing 2 enhanced hammers.
Yeah, I think the safest play would have been, in that instance, just attach to the Klefki, Shaman for your cards. Oh, you hit. Just retreat. Like that Klefki needs to be retreated. And oh, he got lucky. There was no punish here. And so Antonio's digging for cards. I think he grabbed an E-hammer and he's grabbing a Frogadier, it looks like. Yeah.
All right, so he's got his 2 cards there. There's the E-hammer. Okay.
If Grant can... I don't like that play for 2 big reasons. Because it had Grant DCE'd the Klefki and retreated into Blitzel or retreated into Combi and let one get knocked out, for example, now you have the option to, I have Lysander Vespa on the Froakie, I win the game.
Yeah.
And the game just ends right then and there. And now you're dedicating another one. You have to find the end. It's just like Grant limited his options. Just put it on the unknown. He's tossing a bunch of cards. Doesn't acrobike. Digging for an end, which I dislike greatly. I would have tried to find an end because you know he just Talonflame, so he's got a bunch of cards he wants in his hand.
Yeah. It's a dangerous situation to be in if you don't have the end or have a way of getting it.
You have to almost certainly expect the fact that your opponent is sitting, that he grabbed an Enhanced Hammer Frogadier off the Talonflame. Like, in Grant's mind, he knows his DC's not safe.
And at the very least, I would have played that unknown before even considering taking the Sycamore.
Yeah. Just so you can have the option of finding the end. Like, sure, it doesn't hurt Greninja that much by ending them, because they can probably draw into more cards, but you have to understand a lot of the cards in the deck are techs and like Pokemon, so they're trying to like thin out their deck in the early stage with the Frogadier. So you're taking away that Frogadier, you're potentially putting them into more. Sure, they have 4 Die Balls, maybe a couple of Ultra Balls, but at least the biggest thing you're doing is getting rid of that Enhanced Hammer, and maybe the Balloon. So Grant's like in a really, really bad spot here. Because what are you going to do? DCE Zebra hit for 50?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was useful for Talonflame, but now it's pretty much pointless to have that.
Also, no reason to end there as Antonio. Again, playing excessive cards when he didn't need to. Because now he's got Frogadier. He might have drawn into one.
Yeah. Does he have any in his hand? No, I think that's a Greninja. But just the risk of getting them into your hand when you're playing Greninja, you really have to play your ends carefully.
You know, it's just like, why? Why are you playing cards? Like, you have everything you need, and Grant has shown that he has effectively a dead hand. He's burning resources left and right.
Yep.
Like, Grant's options here are just to pass, let Antonio set up, and let his Zebra die. Like, if he attaches that DC, he's so far behind.
Yeah, and at this point, attach retreat is even worse. He does have a DCE in hand, but what he does with it... Yeah, he attaches it.
I don't like that at all. I would just pass and play airs for a turn to let that Zebra get knocked out.
You know, what he's going for now, I don't know if he's just trying to take a look at his deck. I mean, he could get, I guess, a Vespiquen, but maybe the Klefki. I didn't realize he still had a Klefki left, too.
Feels like he's got a Sycamore again. He's just almost out of resources exclusively at this point.
Yeah, he's grabbing a Vaporeon just to get rid of it.
I think Grant made a couple crucial mistakes that are gonna haunt him after the series.
Yeah, there's definitely been more than one misplay in between these two games.
He's been tunnel visioning certain plays. Like, the list itself is very geared to lose to Greninja, unfortunately. Connor, it is Chris Butcher and myself, Rahul Reddy, the guy who's on your playmat. I guess Grant's just trying to burn cards. I don't know. He's going to swing for 50. Antonio's going to rough seize Enhanced Hammer again. And just... YEV. Parallel to... Oh, no, he
parallel himself.
That's fine. I would have retreated unparalleled to get rid of the Zebra.
Yeah. That way you're getting rid of 3 cards out of that.
That's a huge liability sitting on your board. It's going to become a Lysander target. You're down 3 DCE after this turn. You're not sitting pretty. You hit for 50, he's going to heal.
Yeah, and going down to 20 is just... I mean, well
there's no C's. But Oh, there we
goes
are.
the hammer.
And Grant has effectively lost this game.
And the series along with it, unfortunately.
I don't see him coming back. There's just a stitch, which is fine. Oh, he top takes a special charge. Not bad.
Okay, that helps a lot.
Yeah, this is pretty much over. Like, it feels bad for Grant being in that situation, but he put himself there. Like, I think I would have kept the Shaman on the board and gotten rid of the Zebra, because the Shaman, you can get rid of your board if it gets Lysander into the active spot, because you just DC bounce. Like, what's the biggest harm that could happen? Now you're in a situation where you're living on a very few amount of DCEs, your special charges are gone, your resources are gone. You need to find one just to retreat, an action you could have committed to the previous turn. But now you're just kind of like, well, I have to do this anyway, and this 50 damage is completely irrelevant. And if he has a Lysander, it's going to happen every single turn.
Yeah. And with the lack of Floatstone in the deck now, it's just, it's very, very rough position to recover from.
I mean, Grant can just say, like, hey, you don't have anything. I'm going to... Okay, he's just drawing cards. He's like 4 cards left in deck. 50 again? There's no more E-hammers, at least you know that. So you're forcing Antonio, instead of Shadow Stitching, to... Oh, actually, I just realized with Shadow Stitching only did 20 damage. Because of Parallel.
Ah, yes, that's right.
So Antonio actually doesn't have the knockout.
No, he does not. Even if he Moonlight Slashes here, it's only going to be for 60 max.
But he just Ultra Balls for break here.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Meaning,
That's
where are the
140.
brakes? Where are the brakes? I only saw one break.
Wow.
Oh, Antonio, not like this.
Especially if you only have one, why would he not have grabbed that there?
I think he's effectively saying, hey, you're going to have to attack into me and knock yourself out regardless. And I think Grant's happy with that trade. Because he's getting rid of the Zebra on his board, and he's leaving Antonio with 1 Greninja.
Yeah.
And Antonio didn't play a supporter, so you have to assume his hand is dead.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's thinking so much. I just attack.
Yeah, at this point, there's really nothing to think about. Oh, I think he's just going to scoop.
No. He got knocked up by a balloon.
Okay, for a second there, it looked like he was picking up more prizes than what he did.
No, he's in a
Like, wait
surprisingly
minute.
good situation because Antonio's hand sucks. That's good at least. I wouldn't put back the whole line. I'd put back the... No, I'd put back just the Frogadier Greninja and get an energy back. Just so you can duplicates if you need to stall for a turn. There's always going to be like one Frogadier you don't evolve all the way. Oh, he drew an end. Nice, feels good. He didn't have that last turn.
No, he didn't. Yeah, he must have top decked it.
Or pulled it off his prize, one of the
Pulled out
two.
the prizes. Yeah, one of the two.
He's digging for that one break right now so he can... Like, he needs to desperately take that prize right now, because if not, Grant's going to just start running through his board.
Yeah, the prize exchange right now is not as favorable as it would appear to be based on Grant's board throughout this game.
The good news is he did draw... Oh, there we go. And is there energy in his hand? There is no energy in his hand.
Just Splash, it looks like.
I would not have evolved the active to the break. I would have waited to use my Splash. 20 damage from... Oh, that feels so bad. 20 damage from Shadow Stitching. Did he Shadow Stitch?
And at this point, 90 HP. Wait a minute now.
I don't know. He would Shadow Stitch there. I think you always do the second attack.
Yeah.
Or I think you bounce just so you can, like... Potentially, if you have a break for next turn.
And yeah. And,
No, Grant!
Oh boy.
Well, Antonio didn't bounce the energy, so therefore he can't do any big break plays the following turn. The only solace being that he now has a Splash so that active Greninja Break can stay alive a little longer. He needs to bounce that stadium ASAP. Oh, there's a second break. He just showed it off the top.
Okay.
Invitational players, Rashad Lorengo and Eugene Davis report to the stage. Rashad Lorengo and Eugene
I think Antonio's still in a really good spot. The balloon not doing damage hurt, and then there's an N here. The thing that sucks about this is now he has to draw an energy off this end, and if he doesn't, Antonio loses.
Yeah.
But if he does, he's doing good, because Grant's down 3 DCE and a special charge.
So he's going to pull 5 cards off here. This part of the game, and he's got a lot of his deck left.
For sure. There's 1 energy.
Okay, and there goes that parallel.
He doesn't even need to use the energy. I think I'd do it anyway, regardless. Just, I don't agree with that. I would have put the 60 on one of the bench guys and just... No, never mind. He retreated the damage one Grant did.
Yeah, he had 20 on it originally.
Grant needs the last DCE. He has not been stitched, so that's the only solace. He has a Shaman in his hand. Oh, I see a Sycamore. Snap grabs that Sycamore, I think.
I don't know how many Shamans he's throwing away. Maybe he's thinking about grabbing that with the Ultra Ball too, so he can still potentially use a supporter if he doesn't get into it, but he's only got 3 cards in his deck.
I think doing that pretty much says, hey, Antonio, you're not going to have a break for the following turn. Oh, he is doing that. Okay, he's taking the Ultra Ball. You're pretty much saying, hey, Antonio, you no longer have an I guess what he wants to do here is Shaman into the special charge, and then... Oh, okay, no Ultra Ball before Shaman.
I guess he had it.
No, I mean why wouldn't you Ultra Ball first?
Yeah,
to draw
before to get more.
cards?
Yeah, that is.
Well, he's not at any risk of being knocked out in the following turn, so Grant goes down to 2 prizes. Now, that being said, that I believe is his 4th DCE after first special charge. So that's scary.
Yeah, and again, we haven't seen it in the deck so far. The 2nd special charge might be prized.
Both E-Hammers are gone, however.
Yeah.
And this active Vespa Queen is in 0 risk of being knocked out.
Right.
Unless Antonio goes to the balloon, in which case Grant just goes, hey, do you have another bench Pokemon? If not, we're just going to kill each other.
Right.
So Grant should be able to take this game. I guess Antonio's digging for another basic. It's weird, because usually in these Talonflame builds, they play a Jirachi, and not having one is very odd.
Yeah, I have yet to see that in any of the Greninja builds I've seen today
And
so
he scoops.
far. Okay.
Not another basic Pokemon. Knows he can't take the damage. So Grant played that very sloppily, but due to some poor draws on Antonio's part, just not hitting breaks or Greninjas early enough, Grant was able to steal a win. And I think Grant's more than satisfied stealing 1 win there. And if Greninja just bricks 1 time, Grant takes the series. His ideal starter here is a Shaman, so he can just bounce it going 2nd into something garbage. I don't think he wants to put Zebra down again.
And even if he doesn't manage to do that, I mean, he's in a decent position here. He could probably push it to time.
I think that's what he was looking for. Both games have taken close to 20 minutes apiece.
Yeah. That first game was definitely the longest. I think the first game was somewhere around the 20-minute mark.
And then Grant's just been playing lightning fast. Decisions aren't very hard to make because his hands have been very straightforward, but I would take a little more time to think about it before I made a call, just to make sure I don't make a mistake. But who knows?
I've noticed in general that Grant tends to be a quicker player than some of the other players.
He is. He is one of the few. Every player has their own play pace.
Yeah.
And he makes decisions, and he just goes with his gut. I've seen him sometimes make a decision and then ask, hey, did I make the right call?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, sorry, you didn't. You should have had me. What are these players' records? They're both 2-1 in the Invitational. Winning pretty much, I think, puts you in top 4.
Yeah.
Because you can ID your last one.
I mean, I believe they're cutting from 9 to 8.
No, they said they were...
Are they cutting to 4?
They're cutting to 4, and 5th through 8th will get 125.
Okay.
So top 4 is the first position you can potentially split.
Okay.
And I don't think anyone wants to split that.
Yeah.
So losing this probably knocks you out of cut.
Probably at this point, yeah. We're talking around 4 or 5. And you go to O2 or go to X2, yeah, I would say so.
Antonio's real glad he's going first, just to just give Grant 3 mulligans, potentially more.
Yeah, and that means he needs to pull in.
There's a bird, I think.
There's a bird, but will he pull into an N? You gotta get those extra cards out of his hand. You don't want to give anything to
I
Vesperquin.
hate when people just see the talent from them, they go, okay, I'm starting this 100% of the time.
It's not always the best move.
No.
I know earlier in the round I saw Greninja start with Talonflame and Talonflame, a Froakie, and some other card, or not a Froakie. It was a Talonflame, a Frogadier, and some other cards he didn't want, and he chose to mulligan it back in.
That having that option is incredible with Talonflame. That's what makes the card even more dynamic. You basically get to set your hand.
Yep.
Which is nuts.
It is.
His hand does not look very promising.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have accepted that hand.
I don't think I would have. I don't even like attaching that turn. I don't know like what Grant could do. Literally no supporter, nothing happened. Like Grant's assuming he probably has a Frogadier, but Antonio has nothing.
Yeah, that's a tough thing about being on the other side of it. You know, you see a Greninja player not play a supporter. It may not be because they don't have it. It could just be, like you said, with the Frogadier. So you could
but attaching from Antonio's side signifies that he doesn't have anything.
That's true, too.
So what Grant's just going to do here is... Grant's hand also looks dead, because he just Lysandered the frog.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
But if he can find a DC, he's going to get a couple draws out of it.
I mean, there's only two Pokemon I see are Unknown and Klefki.
This is a tough Ultra Ball for him.
It is. It is. I mean, you've got two Pokemon sitting there that you really don't want to have sitting where they're at.
Did you win? Did you win? 4-0.
So he gets a Combi out here. I mean, obviously that's what he's going to have to do at this point.
He's recognizing that he has a Sycamore, but I think he's banking on the fact that Antonio might have a weak hand.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be
Oh,
predicting...
he draws an energy, but so he can just retreat? Oh,
Nope, he has the frog. Oh, and a Rough Seas, too? Okay.
Please don't play that Sycamore, Antonio. Please don't play that Sycamore.
There's really not a need to at this point.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
One time he made the right play. They're both 2-1. Like, come on, Antonio, don't do this to me.
All right, so none of the frogs are prized in this game.
If Grant gets the parallel right here, that would be absurd.
It would. There's the trainer's
Digging
mail.
for it.
No, he has the option to get it again with the Acrobike.
Yeah, I think I would go for the Acrobike. I'd start digging. I got the... What are the choices? I didn't see it.
I didn't see them either, yeah. There's a... Okay, he tosses out an N, that looked like. I didn't see what he got, though.
He grabbed it on none.
Oh! There it is. There it is.
That is... Yes. That is crippling for Antonio. He either has to get rid of a frog and a... It's the frog or a flame. And that's just... If he has... Like... You get rid of the flame, right? Like,
Yeah, you have to. You have to. You can't drop the frog.
Yeah. But that feels so bad.
It does. It does. He never really did get to use it. That's where the attachment on that turn was not necessary. Now he's wasted a water energy they could have used later on.
Exactly. You get rid of all this stuff on your bench just because you don't want to die. Shadow Stitching stuff happen.
Yeah, at this point you have to. You really need to get that Unknown out of the active, too.
I think I sack. Oh, you're paralleling him, so you retreat, I think.
Yeah.
Vespi, yeah.
He's definitely playing this
Did he
turn.
pass?
I don't think he has actually passed it, did he? Oh, he did. He passed.
I would not keep that Unknown on my bench.
That is a scary thing. I mean, if he draws into a Greninja and stitches, It's a useless card on your bench.
Splash. Oh, he found all his energy.
Nope, let's see, there's the Greninja.
I think that's a hand of 5 or 6 energy.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Oh my gosh, everything but the frozen.
Invitational Yu-Gi-Oh players.
feels so bad.
Please find your name and find your seats so you can begin the
He
round.
didn't stitch. He went for the 60.
Yu-Gi-Oh Invitational
No, he
players.
didn't.
Pairings for round 4 are
No,
Did he?
parallel.
Oh no, he did. You're right. Yeah, because of the parallel.
That is a huge misplay. There's no...
Why would you not with that unknown sitting there?
Why would you not attach the splash to the active?
That too.
And bounce if you're going to do it that way. No, don't end him, please, Grant. Grant, for the love of God, don't end him. Grant, you win this game if you don't end.
Oh, and he shows him too.
Oh.
Jeez. That's gotta hurt.
And that is definitely got to feel bad.
Yeah.
If he wasn't tilted before, he is now.
What's up? We'll see, because I got a couple of people too that want to see something. Yeah. Okay.
This is a weird match. I don't know. Like, Grant is gonna take the first prize, but Ace Trainer is gonna come right down and like the 2 Combies is fine. The fact that Antonio has no other ninjas on this field is great. But it's... So the worst that can happen here for Grant is his Vespiquen in the active spot gets knocked out. Why? Just promote that. Just promote that with the energy. Come on, please, Antonio. It's going to go to a tie, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the timer that we have up there is actually a little bit behind. We started a little bit late, so it's actually less time than that on the judge's watch.
Antonio with a power turn. Double Greninja Froakie. He's digging for a Splash and Balloon here. If you get Splash Balloon, you win, I think. Or you capitalize on board. You don't win because Grant can take this to a tie. Which I think it will happen.
Yu-Gi-Oh Circuit Series players, that is time in the round.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 6 prizes to 5. I don't see either one of them being able to take enough prizes in the next 3 minutes.
Yu-Gi-Oh Circuit Series players, that is time in the round. If you are still in the match, please proceed to enter match procedures. If you need assistance with these procedures,
Attaching down there to the bench Greninja. Still no splash. It does bounce up the water energy off the Greninja with the Moonlight Slash there, knocking out the Vespiquen. Evening up the prize exchange. Revitalizer is going to bring it right back.
Yu-Gi-Oh Invitational players.
Grant has to play lightning speed, literally just go DCE knockout, DCE knockout, DCE knockout every single turn if they want to keep this going. And unfortunately, Vespiquen is one of those decks where you just can't do that. You have a lot of actions to take place in your first couple of turns until you get to that point.
Right, right.
I think it's going to end up a tie, unfortunately. He's searching. I don't know what he's searching for. I would stop searching and just kind of play the cards.
Yeah, you have to know the time. Even if, you know, as players don't know how much time they've left, you have to know the time has to be getting close.
If you can say Be Revenge 2 times before time gets called. 3 times, sorry, before time gets called. There's no way he's saying that 3 times before time gets called.
Yeah, especially because, like I said, our timer is actually a little bit behind what the judge's stopwatch is.
His hand sucks, I think. So you got Shaman.
I think he's pulling just a tie here.
Yeah, I think his hand's bad. Yeah, he's searching. He's looking through literally every. Oh, you got a Shaman.
The DCE there.
I wouldn't have grabbed the Blitzel. I don't like the Blitzel play at all.
No reason to bench it at this point.
It's bad. If he's signaling he's out of Combies, just say the attack. Just say the attack. Discard it. Say the attack. Draw your card. You're gonna get Shadow Stitched. Come on, please. And just attack. No more actions. It's gonna go to a tie. I don't see any single way this could.
There he's Lysandering the other Greninja. I can't really see the point in that. I mean, Oh, no, it didn't have any energy attached. It looked like there was one, but apparently not. All right, so there goes the Rough Seas.
Oh, E-hammer, what a swing, and an N. That's a big swing turn. Unfortunately for either player, it does not matter.
Nope, at this point it does not. No one is going to take enough prizes to...
Have they determined if they're allowed to tie or not?
Yeah, they are allowed to tie.
Okay. Because if not, then Grant wins on prizes.
Yeah, it will go to a tie. All right, we got a water energy attached to Greninja here. The lack of splash being used in any of these matches is kind of surprising.
The list that Antonio is playing looks pretty much exactly like Graf and Roll's list from top 8 from the Intercontinental. But it looks like I think time was called and Grant's just putting DCEs back and going, hey, we're gonna run through the motions.
Yeah, time has definitely been called by now, so.
John Orgel, top 8 Orlando finishers, 4-0 currently in the Invitational. So I guess that's a name. And a Sycamore. Did he just not hit an energy?
It doesn't look that way.
He just put all of the DCE in his deck back into it.
And still didn't catch it.
That feels so bad. Look, they're all in there too.
Wow, and they're all at the bottom. All 3 out of the 4 are on the bottom.
Ugh.
And they were all together too, at the very bottom. Oh, the struggle.
That's one of the worst feelings as a Vespiquen player. Knowing your deck is chock full of resources and you can't hit it. He's got Acros. Oh, there we. Oh, what a tough decision.
You gotta throw the Seeker.
But now he has no supporter for next turn.
No. I mean, at the same time, it doesn't matter at this point, but...
I don't know, maybe time wasn't called. If time wasn't called...
It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, time wasn't called, and Antonio's in a really bad spot right now. With just Froakie and Frogadier.
Time wasn't?
If it wasn't,
If it wasn't, then Antonio, I think, loses. Even if time was called right now, I think Antonio loses.
Yeah. I think so, too.
I don't know the situation over there.
Yeah, it's hard to say. No one's really signaled whether or not time has been called. It should have been, but we don't know for certain. I don't know if he's played that second E-hammer yet or not.
I believe he has.
He has, okay.
Both E-hammers have been used. If he has an energy, you at least get a duplicate turn off here.
Right. Which he does have a splash, it looks like.
That's pretty good, I think. Another Froakie. Oh.
Oh, okay. Well, he has access to Greninja then.
That's interesting.
So he will be able to bring that back up and knock out that Vespiquen if he wanted to. I think he's trying to figure out whether he wants to or not. Okay, he's going to keep it on there. Still going to do enough damage.
Is literally one card, whichever card he drew off his prizes.
Yes.
But why? Why wouldn't you just duplicates that turn?
That's a good question. I guess he thought maybe he could, get rid of that energy that was up there. So why not just take that risk that maybe Grant doesn't get into the other DCE?
Looks like time wasn't called because that would have been
That would have been. Yeah, there's the
there's
the E-hammer.
You're right. And now you're just saying Grant, do you have the DC or not? Grant has a Sycamore in hand.
He's got a way to get it.
I think Grant draws his entire deck here.
You have to at this point. DCE and he wins. There it is.
Yep, and that is the game.
He's got it. Wow, Grant manages to pull that one off.
Antonio was drawing really poorly, to be completely fair. But he also played that very poorly.
Yeah, there was definitely some things done on both sides of the field that I don't really know why they happened.
A lot of decisions I don't agree with. A lot of plays that were